Today we will be showing you how to install a 10x16 Vinyl Hollander Pergola. However, they are also available in these sizes listed on your screen. The tools and accessories that are required in order for you to complete this installation will be laid out in your manual. Make sure to review those so that you have everything you need in order to complete the installation. Once you have located all the tools required in order to complete the installation, make sure that you are following all the local guidelines and regulations in order to complete the installation safely. You can start by unpacking the kit that we will provide for you. Make sure to locate all the necessary items in order to complete the installation. If for whatever reason there are any missing pieces, please contact us at the number listed on your screen. Now that you have located all of the items, we can start with post-assembly. We recommend attaching your structure directly to a concrete pad or footers. Mark off the desired location for the structure placement that fits your outdoor area using the footprint of your structure. Standard sizes can be found in the assembly manual that will be provided for you in your kit. Locate the 4 posts and place them on a clean and flat surface. Note how the top of each post has 3 cutouts and 1 flat side on the front. Place a post anchor bracket on each face at the end of the post. Each bracket should be centered on the post and flush with the post spacer at the bottom. Fasten these brackets with 11 2-inch SDS screws per bracket. You can skip this step if the brackets are already installed. Set the posts upright and arrange them according to the post layout drawing included with the structure. The front of each post should be facing out as shown in your manual. Double check all of the measurements to ensure that the posts are spaced out correctly. Set the post in place with the lines that you made. Drill into the concrete using a hammer drill with a 1/2 inch by 6 inch drill bit. Fasten the posts using 1/2 inch anchor bolts through the post brackets. Make sure to use the square washers that are included with the brackets. Once the anchor bolts are in place, make sure posts are level. This can be adjusted by loosening or tightening the anchor bolts. Place a post skirt over each post once the brackets are installed. Repeat this step for each post to complete post assembly. You can now move on to the post and header assembly section of the manual. A tip for installing the headers is to use a wood block not provided on each end of the header. You can cut a piece of 2x4 off the skid that your pergola arrived in. Attach to the top of the header and have one end protruding past the end of the header to rest on the post. Place one of the longer headers in position on the front posts. The headers have exposed hardware on one side. Make sure the hardware is facing to the inside of the structure. Make sure the header is seated properly in the post cutouts, then fasten both ends with 6-inch timber locks through the pre-drilled holes. You may now remove the block. Finish fastening the header ends with 3.5 inch wood screws. Each end of the header gets 4 screws, 2 towed in from the top and 2 in from the bottom. Place the back header in position with the exposed hardware facing in. Repeat steps 7 through 8 to fasten it. Place one of the side headers in position with the exposed hardware facing in once again. Make sure the header is seated properly in the post cutouts, then fasten both ends with 6-inch timber locks through the pre-drilled holes. Finish fastening the header ends with 3.5 inch wood screws. Each end of the header gets 4 screws, 2 towed in from the top and 2 in from the bottom. You are now ready to move on to the header end assembly section of the manual. Locate the 4 header end pieces. Place the header ends in the remaining post cutouts. Make sure they are pushed in against the post and flush on the top side. Fasten the top of the header ends with 2 3.5 inch wood screws through the pre-drilled holes. Fasten the bottom of the header ends with 2 3.5 inch wood screws through the pre-drilled holes. Attach the inside corner of the vinyl post sleeve to the header using a 2-inch panhead screw. You can now move on to the top plate assembly section of the manual. Locate the 2 end top plates. Place them at each end of the structure on top of the end headers. Center the 2 plates on top of the headers and between the posts. Check the measurements in all 4 directions to ensure that it is centered. Fasten the end top plates using 2.5 inch white screws through all the pre-drilled holes. Place the two side top plates in position. These are pre-drilled along one edge of the rafters. Make sure these holes are along the outside edge. Push these in against the end top plates, then measure the overhang at each end to center them. The top plates are fastened with 4 2.5-inch white screws into the header ends and 4 2.5-inch white screws into the post. Repeat this at each end of the top plates. The top plates are fastened to the side headers using 2.5-inch white screws through the rest of the pre-drilled holes. You can now move on to the rafter and stringer assembly section of the manual. Locate the 2x6 rafters and spread them out across the top of the structure. Use the included spacer to space the rafters correctly. Measure in from each end on all 4 sides to center the rafters. Use an angle square to make sure the rafters are sitting square to the top plate. Once the rafters are centered on top of the structure, fasten them using 2.5-inch white screws up through the pre-drilled holes in the side top plates. Locate the stringers and spread them out across on top of the structure. Use the included spacer to space the stringers correctly. Measure in from each end on all 4 sides to center the stringers. Once the stringers are centered on top of the structure, fasten them using 2-inch panhead screws through the pre-drilled holes. Do not tighten these too much. The plastic will crack with too much pressure. You can now move on to the final assembly section of the manual. Place the header brackets in position on the posts. Each post gets 3 brackets. Center the brackets on the posts, then fasten them with 4 1.5-inch washer head screws per bracket. Place a post bracket on each post. Center these on the header. Fasten each bracket with 12 1.5-inch washer head screws. Apply PVC cement to the inside of the rafter caps and place them on the rafters. Apply PVC cement to the outside of the stringer caps and insert them into the stringers. Attach the Country Lane logo on the inside of one of the headers. It contains the serial number for your structure. Use the foam cleaning pad included in your hardware box to remove any scuffs or dirt that may have occurred during installation or shipping. You can now move on to the electrical package assembly section of the manual. Remove the header bracket at your desired location of your electrical package. Measure and cut the wire cover strip to the length to fit between the post skirt and the header. Drill a hole down through the post skirt and a hole up through the header to the top of the pergola as shown with a 1/2-inch drill bit. The drill bit will need to be at least 8 inches long. Insert the wiring through the header using the hole that you just drilled. Make sure to leave 16 to 20 inches of wiring at the top. Repeat this step with the post skirt as shown. Leave 2 feet of slack to make the connections in the electrical boxes. Bring the wire out from underneath the post skirt from the desired location. Measure and mark off your desired location for your electrical box. Drill through the wire cover strip at the marked locations. Cut the wiring in between the 2 holes that you drilled in the wire cover strip. Feed both ends of the wire through the holes in the wire cover strip. Position the wire in the groove on the wire cover strip and attach the strip to the post using 2-inch stainless steel screws. You can now reattach the header bracket. Attach the electrical boxes to the post and the wire cover strip using 2-inch wood screws. Place the screws so that they do not hit the wire under your wire cover strip. Cut the excess wiring off, leaving 8 to 10 inches for the electrician to make the connections. Attach the electrical box at the top of the pergola using 2-inch wood screws. It is now ready for your electrician to make the final connections.